So, in your slides, we talked about the importance of the Union blockade, also known as the Anaconda Plan. So, the blockade, the whole purpose of the Anaconda Plan was to stop the South from trading with other countries in return for military supplies. So, the North felt that if they surrounded the coast and around the South, it would prevent them from trading with Europe and France in return for military supplies. They were hoping that this would choke the South and they would suffer from not having military supplies or food, etc., and they would be forced to surrender. So, what the South decided that they would do is that they would employ blockade runners. Blockade runners are simply private citizens with small, quick ships that were able to break through the blockade to trade supplies with other countries in order to receive supplies and take them back to the Confederacy. So then this leads to the Emancipation Proclamation. So Lincoln's duty is he has to come up with a way to strengthen the Northern forces, and he knows that if he frees the slaves, that white soldiers, white Union soldiers, are not going to want to fight for um, the freedom of Negro slaves. So he carefully plots and plans, and he goes ahead and writes a draft of the Emancipation Proclamation. So he waits until the Battle of Antietam, in which was a victory for the Union soldiers, and he brings about this Emancipation Proclamation 5 days later on September 22nd, 1862. And in this emancipation, he declares that all slaves in Confederate states would be free. So he figured that by doing it that way, he could convince them that he is no longer focusing on preserving the Union, but he is focusing on freeing the slaves. So, for the Northern view, they saw this Emancipation Proclamation as victorious, as a great win in the end of slavery, while the South saw this as the North attempting to destroy the Southern way of life. So they felt that their institution of slavery was going to be severely impacted um, with this proclamation. Of course, the enslaved, they view this as the Union coming as liberators to set them free. So as a result, Lincoln shifts his focus from preserving the Union to freeing the slaves. The emancipation did not immediately free slaves, and newly freed black people were now able to enlist and join forces in the Union Army. So this leads us to the Battle of Chickamauga. So we have a General Rosecrans, who's the leader of the Union troops. He devises a plan for the North to capture Chattanooga and then head to Atlanta to stop the supply line. So in Chattanooga was a large railroad system. There was a railroad hub there, and this is how the South was able to transport their goods and receive supplies to help build their military supplies. So this battle is significant because the Union ends up defeating the Confederate soldiers. It is the largest Union defeat. And after they were able to capture Chattanooga, the Union then set their sights on moving toward Atlanta. This was this battle was lasted only 3 days, and it was the second bloodiest battle. So then this leaves us to William T. Sherman. He is the most hated person in Georgia history. He led the campaign to capture Atlanta. He wanted to swiftly end this civil war by going to Atlanta, taking over the city because it was a well-known transportation hub with the rail system. So he sets his sights on capturing Atlanta. This campaign lasted for 4.5 months. So it resulted in him ending up capturing Atlanta. He leaves it in ruins. And this win, Atlanta's mayor, once Sherman and his troops arrive, Atlanta mayor comes out and he surrenders Atlanta. The Confederate soldiers then withdraw their troops. They leave. They've abandoned Atlanta, so now it's open to Union forces. The Union forces come down. The Atlanta mayor then surrenders Atlanta, and it becomes under control of the Union. This win boosts the North's willpower to continue fighting. General John B. Hood replaced General Johnston, who was the leader of the Confederate troops after Johnston had several defeats. The Confederates, Jefferson Davis, who's the president of the Confederate States of America, felt that he needed a more aggressive leader for his troops, so he appointed John B. Hood, and he becomes the commander for the Confederate troops. So I want you to complete your interactive slides. If you need to go back at any point, just go back in the video, pause it, and jot down your notes and your interactive slides.